Hello everybody, my name is Ronnie on Guard, and welcome back for more Pokemon Platinum. In the last part, we battled a lot of trainers, and actually battled a lot of trainers off-screen as well. So now, our entire team is up to level 36, and I decided to do a little bit of, mixing and matching with items, and also a little bit with the movesets, and I battled against the rich people, which, amassed me, because they give you $10,000 if you have the amulet coin from every battle, so I managed to get 60,000 Pokédollars, which I spent exclusively on vitamins, so all of my stats are buffed up, well, a little bit at the very least. And as you can see here, I decided to buy the Wide Lens for Narcissus and also gave him the Blizzard. Because I thought, if I'm gonna go with a special attacking route anyway, I might as well do that as well to, in case there's anything that resists normal and flight. Could come in handy. Rox Raquel is the same, has the amulet coin because there was no item I wanted to give her. Olivia also the same with the Razor Fang, which would make an opponent flinch if we hit them with either Aqua Jet or Crunch. Spicy Meme is also the same with the Spooky Plate to boost Ominous Wind. Work Bitch also the same with Fist Plates to boost Close Combat. And Olilot I gave the Payback TM because I figured that, most things are gonna go ahead of Olilot anyway, which would pretty much guarantee Payback being 100 power, so that's pretty neat. And gave it back the Mind Plate to boost the Extrasensory. With that being said, let's just go right ahead. Oh, kind of nervous about this fight, because as I've said previously, I have some history of losing Pokemon to this guy, so let's just hope that everything goes well, which I feel like I should be pretty good. So now with the Wide Lens, Thunder actually has a 77 accuracy, which, is not the worst, actually. I actually don't know how the Wide Lens works, because theoretically, if it boosts by 10%, that would mean that Jump Kick actually has perfect accuracy. Which, I'm not sure if that is how it works, but it should logically be the case, so that would mean that we can use Jump Kick as much as we want without fearing the recoil, except if the opponent somehow has higher evasion or has lowered our accuracy or happens to be Ghost type, or if the opponent changes into a Ghost type, or not changes into, switches into a Ghost type, I should say. And I mean, the fact that we managed to do over half Prinplup's HP with a special attack coming from Narcissus, or a Labuddy in general, I feel like that is pretty solid, because Prinplup is actually pretty defensive, well, especially on the special side. Also, I think if we manage to hit on a Blizzard here, I think this should be enough to take it out. It might be. Ah, almost. Close, but no cigar. We could take a gamble and try for Blizzard, but I don't want to take any gambles, especially not in this fight. So I'm just gonna send it. Okay, it didn't have Giga Drain, but I don't know if Magical Leaf would have been enough, but definitely won't be enough on Olilot. So let's just tank another Magical Leaf and release Extrasensory. Yeah, take that, you bitch. Oh lord. Now I'm actually kind of looking forward to this gym because it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how I'm gonna fare. Because I think most of this is gonna be covered by Narcissus and Spicy Meme. Because both of them have, you know, electric attacks to take care of pretty much everything in here. Like, the only thing that isn't taken down, or at least severely damaged by Thunder or Shockwave, is the gym leader, who has a Quagsire. So, but not that I'm really that worried about a Quagsire. I mean, come on. And just in case, we do have Work Bitch with Grass Knot if, you know, anything crazy happens. But I don't really expect anything crazy to happen, so. My body isn't the only thing I'm toughening up. Lol. Jackie with a barrel. Actually, I think Jump Kick's gonna do more damage than Thunder, so might as well save on the Thunder PP. So we only do have 10 of those. Oh, I just remembered. I do think there's a trainer in here that has a, not a Quagsire, but a Whiscash. So that is also gonna be problematic. 128. You cheapskate. Being a child doesn't mean you're gonna be able to cheap out of giving me money. I think this is the guy that has the Whiscash. Maybe? Okay, he has one Pokemon, and that is the Whiscash. The Whiscash. Don't really... I should Google, or look up on Bulbapedia, why it's named Whiscash, because it never made sense to me why that is... Don't you dare. Don't you... Okay. No. Nope. No. No chances. None. Yeah, I should look up why it's named Whiscash, because I think part of it is, you know, whiskers, because it has those really dramatic and beautiful whiskers. But the cash part of it, I don't know, like, what that's supposed to symbolize. I suppose because I'm not really familiar with the creature it's based on. Some kind of mudfish. I almost said crayfish, but no, that is definitely wrong. Oops. Don't really feel the need to heal just yet. Nah, let's put Narcissus on in front. Why not? I just want to give Narcissus the most amount of time to shine as possible. Show them peeps that, you know, just because you're a bunny, you can duke it out with the best of them. Yeah, because, you know, when Labunny gained its Mega Evolution, it definitely gained, you know, a sizable raise in its usage stats. Yeah, whatever. It gained, a lot more people used it. There. Jesus. Took me like a good 30 seconds to come up with a full sentence. Jesus. But before that, it was, you know, definitely, you know, a joke in the competitive community. Because, like, what the heck is this the thing supposed to do? It's a fast tank. Well, not even a tank, it's a fast wall. Whoever heard of a fast wall? I mean, it's not the worst, really. Just because you're fast and defensive, that isn't really a bad thing, necessarily. I mean, it does mean that you're allocating stats into speed that could have gone into, you know, one of your 3 defensive stats. Because, you know, a glass cannon usually has good speed and good, you know, one of its attacking stats, meaning that it only has, you know, to worry about 2 stats. Or for example, in Infernape's case, it has good speed and good attack and special attack. But then, you know, it's a wet paper bag otherwise. And then you have, you know, fully defensive Pokemon that are geared towards HP defense and special defense, which is also, you know, just 3 stats. But then what is that noise? There's some kind of noise happening that I'm not I don't approve of. Oh, come on, Narcissus. Yeah, so if you're allocating into 3 stats of your wall, but then if you add speed on top of that, you know, all of a sudden there's a problem, because, you know, oh no, you had to allocate, you know, into 4 stats all of a sudden, and that would also mean that you have no offensive presence whatsoever, which, you know, the Pokemon that are, you know, straight up walls, who have 0 offensive presence, usually don't do too well, because, you know, you still need a little bit of offensive presence to be able to accomplish much. Because, like, if you're fully defensive, then you're just taunt bait. Like, 1 taunt and, you know, game over, pretty much. Like, for example, with, I don't know, Shuckle, which I'm using as a random example because that's my wallpaper background at the moment. Like, it has excellent defensive stats. Well, it doesn't have the best HP in the world, but like, if it had like 10, 20 more HP, it would have been, you know, seriously one of the best walls in the game, you know, just stats wise. But the fact that it has, you know, absolutely no attack, special attack, or speed whatsoever means that it's just, you know, it's just fodder, it's just setup fodder. Because, like, it has nothing to, you know, to answer to if its opponent just decides to do something. But that's the thing with a glass cannon, is, you know, it can always answer to the opponent. If the opponent decides to do something, it can answer to it. But a wall is just, you know, stuck there doing its own thing. And if the opponent, you know, decides to just start setting up, what can you do? There's nothing you can do except just sit there and hope that, you know, you can toxic stall it to death, which, you know, would take a good, like, 8 turns, in which, you know, your opponent can set up to, you know, max stats and just, you know, sweep you entirely. Don't know, I keep hearing some kind of clicking, which I'm not entirely sure what it is, because it sounds like it might be coming from my microphone, which is very scary, because, you know, that's how I record things. If my microphone goes out on me, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Oh. So, you know, I hope that doesn't happen, that my microphone starts going out on me. Or if it does, I hope it gives, you know, a clear enough signal so that, you know, I can buy a replacement of one before it totally dies. And I've actually gotten some flack from a friend of mine for because the microphone I'm using right now is a Blue Snowball, which apparently is the worst fucking microphone ever. Apparently all the fucking audiophiles out there fucking get their panties in a twist, because, you know, oh, the using the blue snowball as the equivalent of, you know, burning your money and it's awful and terrible. I don't care. Like, it works perfectly fine. I don't have, like, listening back to it, I can't find anything wrong with it whatsoever. Like, is it, like, if the one argument I can get behind is that it's overpriced. Sure, that is actually fairly valid. Because it is pretty expensive, and I'm sure you can get something better for a lower price. Sure. But does it work? Yes. Like, it's not, like, I would have understood the intense hatred if, you know, it didn't work, or if there were some glaring errors with it. I've had my blue snowball for, like, years, and who knows, maybe it's just my ears that are fucked up, but I can't hear, you know, any kind of drastical difference between this and, you know, really expensive equipment. Like, sure, there is a difference between this and, you know, I don't know, a $2 headset mic, I don't know. Like, I can definitely tell the difference between this and, using a microphone that definitely wasn't intended to be used as a microphone, like, you know, the microphone that comes in your Logitech webcam, for example. You know, you definitely can't expect much from that. But, like, I don't know, I just get so infuriated at people. Not infuriated, that is not the correct word, but I get kind of, like, tired of people that are, like, super elitist about stuff. Like, I remember there was a guy that posted a video, like, it just popped up in my recommended one day, was somebody that, you know, spent a good, like, 30 to 40 minutes, you know, just shitting all over the blue snowball. Like, he made the entire video about just that. And, like, I just don't get it. Like, and it definitely came off, like, super, like, I don't, like, pretend to know anything about audio whatsoever. I know nothing at all. All I can offer is, you know, my subjective experience and, you know, what my ears pick up and all that. And, like, I just don't like people that are super elitist about stuff. Like, it's the same thing with, like, people that, you know, really praise Android phones but then shit all over iPhones. Like, are iPhones overpriced? Yes. No, but, like, I don't think there's a single person on the planet that can defend that. They are overpriced for what they offer. But do they function perfectly fine? Yes. Like, I've personally used iPhones. Like, I have an iPhone. The one that I have now, I've had for 2 years. Don't have a single problem with it. Haven't had one, and I'm probably not gonna have one, as, you know, for the next foreseeable future. You know, knock on wood. And I just, like, and it's the whole thing, like, sure, if I was the kind of person that, you know, I don't know, played mobile games or, you know, used my phone for something spectacular, whatever, sure, getting an iPhone wouldn't be the smart choice. But I've never had, there's never been a time where I was like, oh man, I wish I had an Android instead. I've never had that thought, and it's not because, you know, I deliberately try not to have that thought. Like, if there was a legitimate reason for me to get an Android, I would have thought it, ah shucks, I wish I had an Android instead. Never been a time. Cause what the fuck am I gonna, like, there's like the whole thing of like, you can do all this crazy customization and, you know, all this crazy fun stuff. Why would I need to do that? Like, I have no need to, you know, I don't know, I can't think of, if I sat down and thought about it, I could think of, like, all of these things that people told about, you know, Androids. But the basic features that the iPhone offers is more than enough for me. Like, for example, emulators. People like to emulate games on their phones. Why the fuck would I want to do that when I can just emulate games on my PC? There's never been a time where I was, you know, stranded somewhere with my phone and thought, ah, if only I could waste these 10 minutes by playing an emulator instead of, you know, just browsing, you know, fucking Instagram for 10 minutes. Like, what kind of person are you that needs to emulate games on your phone? Where are you where you have access to only your phone, but not your computer or anything else? I mean, I guess if you're at work and if you have like a 30-minute break at work, but even then, like 30 minutes, whatever, fucking go on YouTube or, you know, browse the internet on your phone. There are like small apps on your phone you can use to waste time. Learn a fucking language on Duolingo for like 15 minutes. I don't know. And I mean, for me as a gamer, I have like a million handheld consoles that I could have with me instead. The fucking 3DS, I have like a million games on that thing. Like, just loaded into my 3DS, I have the entirety of Generation 6 and 7 of Pokemon. I have, you know, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Persona Q. Like, I have so many games in that thing that I could have, you know, take with me instead of using my phone as a fucking emulator. Who needs that? God, I'm sorry. It's not my point to, you know, deliberately piss on Android users, because I have no problems with people using an Android phone versus somebody using an iPhone. Use whatever you want. The only thing I have a problem with are people that are like super duper elitist about their own opinion. Like, no, the thing that I use is so much better than the thing that you use because my thing is better. I cannot stand that kind of mentality. That is just like if you want me to not like you, go ahead and be an elitist about something. Because that is just annoying. Like, and sure, if you have legitimate reasons, like I don't have a problem with, say, a person that prefers Android, you know, giving reasons, like objective reasons why having an Android would be better, like what I just did, like talking about things you can, you know, like if you're a person that prefers to have a device that is fully customizable and, you know, you can do a lot with, sure, an Android is for you, and I'm not complaining about it at all, and definitely Android phones are a lot more affordable than iPhones, definitely, but I don't see why anybody would have a huge problem with iPhones except for the price, which, again, I fully agree that they are very expensive. But, like, it's the same thing with, I mean, a computer. Like, if all you're gonna do with your computer is just fucking browse YouTube and you know, Facebook, why do you need some high-end computer for that? You don't. So that's the same thing. Like, I suppose that's actually kind of a counter-argument against iPhone. Why get a super expensive phone if all you're going to use it for is this and this? But I do actually use my iPhone for things that, you know, it's good to have a quote-unquote powerful phone. It's not powerful. But, like, you know, I do use it a lot. So I do need a phone that I can use a lot. I don't know. I have no reason to buy an iPhone. I suppose the one good reason to get an iPhone is that it's, you know, it is very much already made for you. Like, you don't need to muck about in the options or settings or whatever. Like, everything's already there for you. Like, the only thing you need to do is, you know, download the apps that you need personally, and then boom, you're set. You have your phone. You don't need to do anything else. And, you know, like, it's very much like already set up for you. There's, yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, the iPhone in general is very, you know, idiot proof, which is very helpful for me because I am definitely not a tech person. Like, I as much as, you know, like, for example, I would call myself a gamer, I suppose. I don't really like using the word gamer because it carries a lot of connotations with it, but even though I use a lot of technology, I suppose is the most correct way to put it. Even though I use a lot of technology, I am very illiterate when it comes to, you know, using technology. Like, I'm very much I'm very much the monkey at the typewriter, because I just, you know, throw everything at the wall until something sticks when it comes to technology. So, I definitely appreciate, you know, having something pre-made for me, instead of having to do a lot of the customization, you know, by myself. I don't know why this turned into a whole iPhone versus Android debate. Jeez. I suppose my point, the final point I'm just trying to make is, whatever you want to use is fine. If you want to, you know, I don't know, not debate, but give objective reasonings, and subjective reasonings, for that matter, for why you think your site is better, that is perfectly fine. Perfectly reasonable. As long as you're not being a massive fucking douche canoe about it, which sadly, there are way too many people that are, you know, massive douche canoes about their opinion, because their opinion is better. They're not. Like, who knows, they might, like, you might even be right about something. Like, a lot of the things that Android, quote-unquote Android people say, they are technically correct, but I don't want to agree with them because they're being such cunts about it. Like I almost want to be a contrarian because you're being such an idiot about it, which is a terrible mindset to have. Not saying that it's a good mindset at all, but what I'm just saying is that you're not helping your cause if you're being a douche. What you're doing is instead hindering your cause. And that goes for everything. Like, not just, you know, Android versus iPhone. That goes for any argument. If you're trying to win an argument by being a douche, you're not gonna win your argument. You're gonna lose your argument. Most likely. Like, whatever. Again, even what I'm saying isn't, you know, not proof, but, whatever. I think you get what I'm trying to say here, is that, you know, even where I'm coming from isn't, you know, the truth about everything. I'm just trying to navigate the world as best as I can, and I'm always... The thing is, whenever I step into an argument, I try, wear very, you know, harsh lines under the try, the keyword being try, I should say. being as open as possible to the other side of the argument. Because that is the thing about an argument, is that some people might have, you know, an opinion you might agree with more than the one you had. You just have to be open to it. Like, the way that you are now, you're not gonna be correct about everything. Like, there are gonna be things that, well, it doesn't have to be wrong necessarily, but there's gonna be things that you think right now that you might not think in the future. Like, that's just a possibility. Gosh, that was a very long tangent about one thing. I suppose as long as I'm talking about something, that's okay. But now that we're getting up here into the very thick soup of a fog, I think I'm gonna be seeing you guys in the next time. Goodbye.